There is a faculty that distinguishes a human being from other living species, language. The latter, evolving over the centuries, has always been manifested as a wonderful invention of the human mind. My thesis aims to present a higher threshold of creativity in the linguistic field, characterized by the invention of artificial languages, and try to understand what pushes a human being to create a language. An artificial language is often the result of the elaboration made by default by one or more persons who deliberately and ingeniously develop its main features. It is created to fill the curiosity and satisfy a certain communicative purpose of the inventor. Unlike natural language, that is instinctive and spontaneous product born in a certain ethnic community. Artificial languages are divided into a posteriori languages, which are based on the elements and constructs of the other languages that already exist, and a priori languages that are completely invented idioms, for the creation of which the so-called conlanger relies exclusively on schemes that it constructs within his own mind. Artificial languages were invented for various reasons, but only in the 19th century linguistic creativity turns towards a purely utilitarian purpose with the advent of universal auxiliary languages. In this field, one of the most successful examples is surely the Esperanto of the Polish ophthalmologist Ludwig Zamenhof, created with the intent to remedy the hatred between national communities with a neutral idiom to facilitate the intercomprehension between the various peoples. Zamenhof, who grew up in a country full of cultural and ethnic tensions, strongly believed that the existence of a universal language was the key to peaceful coexistence. His goal was to develop something that could unite rather than divide humanity and that would allow all cultures to feel on equal footing. However, Esperanto did not succeed in imposing itself as its creator would have wished due to the nationalistic ideals of the two world wars and the establishment of the United States with the growth of the English language. In spite of all this, Zamenhof obtained numerous recognition also at an international level from important organizations such as the UN and UNESCO, which still take his invention as an example to pursue the ideal of peace and brotherhood among peoples. When Zamenhof died on the other side of Europe, Tolkien started to give life to his literary masterpieces and to create imaginary worlds with stories of millenary peoples and cultures to which he could donate his linguistic invention. In fiction, artistic or fantastic languages are used as a stylistic device for the description of alien or future societies and species for which these languages function like natural ones. Tolkien based the creation of Quenya on a natural language that is Finnish, particularly appreciated for its phonetic side, characterized by a great vocalic richness. The Quenya was invented to give voice to the fantastic people of the elves and to define their identity and characteristics. Tolkien's linguistic inventions are at the base of the creative process and closely related to the mythology he developed because he believed that without a people who spoke it and without a world where it could exist, the language will never have been born or nor could it have evolved. Tolkien gives new importance to imaginary fiction and the return to myth, urging men to regain their creative identity in the dissatisfaction of living a reality that does not reflect their ideas. Orwell's world is also an imaginary one, this time, however, projected into the future, the worst that can exist. George Orwell is one of the greatest exponents of dystopian literature, and with his novel 1984, intends to show readers the horror hidden behind certain governmental systems and to report the monstrosity arising from political and social developments already present aimed at eliminating freedom and individual dignity. Orwell's world is governed by a totalitarian society that uses the manipulation of a language to control over people's brains. In this regard, Orwell creates the Newspeak, a language intended to penetrate inside the individual and destroy thought and consciousness through the progressive reduction of words in terms of numbers and meaning. Newspeak is considered the dark side of linguistic planning, capable of preventing and controlling free thought and destroying will and imagination. In this way, from the finest creation of human ability, the language becomes the means used by governments to subjugate and obfuscate citizens, hindering the flowing of ideas and information. In conclusion, the reasons for creating a language may be many and vary depending on what the author at a specific time wants to express or experiment. But why feel the need to create? Creating languages means in some way regaining possession of one's human identity, which is also made up of every individual's creative character that possesses the greatest and most beautiful human faculty, imagination.